Hi, welcome back to Happy Apple Core Homestead. Today is the day, you guys. We are doing the May garden tour. I am excited to show you all of the big changes out there. I think we're gonna skip the greenhouse. I do have some lettuce growing in there, but it's really not that interesting. So we are gonna just go directly out to the main garden. I will take you through slow so that you can see all of the plants. I know I've had some requests to slow down a little bit. I will do that for you today, I promise. Why don't we head on out there and take a look at what's growing? Here we are walking into the garden, and we'll start over here like we normally do. And down here I do still have tons of potted plants, and that is because I'm having a plant sale over here May 17th. So for my local peeps, if you want to come, let me know. We've got strawberries and jalapenos. All these strawberries are flowering. And here's the little baby jalapenos. I won't bother you too much with all of these plants here. Let's see what's growing in the garden. Here we've got some blueberries and some rosemary. I've harvested quite a bit of it and pulled out some of the woody stalks. Let's get close so you can see what she looks like. And this is ARP variety. And here are the blueberries. The bees have been just loving these. They've got pretty blooms on them at the moment. And here is my irrigation you guys saw on last month's tour. These particular modules have to be, they can't stay out over the winter, and they don't do well if there's direct sunshine on them for years at a time. So my husband's going to build some kind of a roof to get them out of the sun. They're in direct sun all day. My garden gets full sun all day long. And down along here we've got our grapes, and their leaves are starting to come out. I finally got them tied up. It really took me a long time to get it done, and it still looks a little bit chaotic, but they're off the ground and it'll do. Okay, and here in this bed we have shelling peas planted on both sides of the trellis. And normally here is where I would plant my bush beans, but I still have like 2 years of bush beans canned up, and I do not want to grow a single bean this year, and so I'm not going to. These are jalapenos. All the way down, we eat a ton of pickled jalapenos, and so I am growing an obscene amount of jalapenos this year. And here are my peas, and we're going to talk more about bird deterrent as we go along in this video. Obviously, I had an intruder come and pluck this out. I will tell you that the birds in my garden are so mad at me, and I'll show you why in a minute. If you've been watching my videos for a long time, you know that I use these bird spikes. But not only did I have a problem this year with birds, but also like little field mice. Voles have always been a problem. I have caught one vole this year, but so far it's not a massive deal. But the field mice was a big deal, and I'll tell you, it's so important. I'm just going to swing you around here. If you look at the edge of the fence, you can see that there's some grass growing there. If you let that get real bushy, those mice will hide in there and then they will come and eat every single last one of your seeds. So here where you see lots growing, and then this area right here, that's because the mice got in here. The birds did not get in here, but the mice did. And they were able to circumvent what I tried to do, not fully, because I really, really heavily plant the peas. They do like to grow bunched up and close together like this, so you can really plant them heavily. Then I guess the birds can have some, the mice can have some, but I'll tell you what, if you don't protect your seeds, and you do have mice, and you have birds, every single last seed is going to be gone. So keep that in mind. Pest deterrent is very important, and of course here we do everything as naturally as possible, meaning we do not use any poison, but I do use some methods that end in the death, like the vole traps, for example. And here we have, same thing, peas along both sides of the trellis with jalapenos. And on this side, you can't see anything, but there's carrots planted all the way down to the end. And I did not cover this the first time I planted the carrots, and the birds ate every single one of my seeds. Not one carrot popped up. And so I heavily replanted it a second time, but I did not cover it, so I'm not really sure. I don't see a whole lot of bird action here. Usually you'll see like little holes that look kind of like this when the birds have come in and gotten the seeds. So maybe they don't care, or maybe I'm just fortunate. We'll see. If they don't pop up and I have to do a third planting, I will absolutely be covering this bed because, well, I guess I'm kind of dumb for not doing it this time. This is raspberry shortcake. It is a thornless variety. It is my absolute favorite. It's got lots of little blooms here. It is going to have tons of raspberries, and I could not possibly be more excited. I love raspberries so much. They're my favorite. And this is rhubarb. I harvested most of it. Oh, you guys look. Oh no, he flew away. I wanted to show you the dragonfly. I harvested basically all of it to make the batch of rhubarb wine. And here's the yarrow and tons of weeds, but it is coming back nice. I need to revamp this whole bed and dig it all out and replant it, but that is not a project for this year. This is my garlic. Normally this would be planted in the main gardens, but since I didn't grow anything last year, I put it in pots to make sure that I had seed stock for this October. And we'll go down here. These are giant Columbia blackberries, also a thornless variety. Looks like we're gonna get a few. And last year I only had just this one, which is why it's so much bigger. I got a partner for it this spring. And this bed here, all the way down, is Yukon Gold potatoes. And they are starting to come up. The potato bed is a favorite for voles, so important to come and check, make sure there's no vole holes in the beds. So far, I've only had one vole, and it was over in one of the grapes. And he's no longer with us. But I know he's got friends and family members. This bed here is the one that had that big bush of comfrey. And the comfrey, I did dig it up, but there's tons of roots in there and it will grow back. So I just left this area blank because I know it's gonna come back. And I didn't want it pushing out anything else. But on this side, I planted some lemon balm. Lemon balm gets huge and bushy, so I thought this time around, instead of planting it in the main beds, I would plant it somewhere where it could be a little bit more contained. And these are raspberries. Look how bushy and so many blossoms coming. And this is my strawberry bed. It is completely packed full, as tight as I could get it. That's why I'm selling a whole bunch of strawberries. And this is an ever-bearing variety. I don't usually can my strawberries. You know, I don't make jam or anything. I just eat them. So it's okay with me if I don't get a huge crop all at once. I would just rather have some to munch on for as long as possible. And these are more of the raspberry shortcake. This bed here, also like the first ones I showed you, there are peas planted here on both sides of the trellis and jalapenos on both sides. This is the bird deterrent that I'm using this year, and you guys, it is so much more effective than anything else I've tried. So I've tried every single bird deterrent that you could think of. I've got a fake owl out here. I have used the spike strips. I have used shiny foil dangly things. I've used pinwheels. I have used everything. Nothing works as good as putting row cloth right over the top of it. And then I anchor it down with these staples. You can get a box of these staples for super cheap. And it anchors this down, and then the birds can't get into it, but I will tell you, they are not happy. You can tell they've been here, and I am getting so much side-eye from the robins you would not believe. The thing with this is no matter how tight I tamp it down, the mice can still weasel their way underneath here. But the tighter you can get it down, the better. And both sides are the same. I will show you what it looks like underneath here in just a second. Over here we've got more rhubarb. I didn't harvest any of this plant because it obviously has something wrong with it. You can see these leaves are so unhappy. And I did take out, you know, all of the blooms when they came, but I mean, I don't know what's wrong with this, but I need to find out if it's a nutrient problem, if it's too compact. I had a problem with it last year and the year before too, so it might just have some kind of a virus, or I don't know. We'll find out. This one next to it's not affected, and I did harvest some of that. Over here I have, oh, something ate one of my jalapenos. Check this out. Probably one of the voles or a mouse came and munched that up. And that's all that's left. That's unfortunate. That happened recently because I was out here this morning. Every morning I do what I call the slug patrol. A lot of you guys, I'm sure, have problems with slugs and snails in your garden. While I have used Sluggo before, I don't, because I found that the most effective way of dealing with slugs is to come out every morning early when the dew is still on the ground with a bucket and pick them up and relocate them far, far away from the garden. It really does reduce the slug population in the garden and therefore the damage they can do. Here I have a potato volunteer, and I didn't want to dig it up and move it, so he just gets to stay there. Now underneath here, is where my peas are planted. And here they are, they're starting to come up. Little babies. So the mice didn't get to this particular patch, but I'll show you where they did get to. And there's another potato under here. Might want to give him a little bit more space. There we go. But this row cloth is fabulous. The sunshine can get in, the rain can get in. I mean, I do have irrigation, but you can water over the top of this stuff if you wanted to. Oh, we missed a trough. This here is all bergamot. And this is not the citrus, this is the bergamot to make Oswego tea. And it's a highly medicinal herb. Recommend that you grow it if you can. This is all chamomile. This has always been my designated chamomile bed, but I planted all new because this trough needed to be restored a little bit. New soil, new compost. And down here, same with this other one. Both sides of the trellis are planted with shelling peas. Shelling peas are my favorite. I don't can them, I actually just freeze them. And English pea salad is my very favorite summer dish, I guess. And so I go through a lot of peas. We've got our jalapenos down here. And all the way down. Oh, the sunshine is coming out. How pretty. We have blueberries. Look how many blossoms are on this bush. I will most definitely be covering this entire trough because I want to eat every single one of these blueberries. And I don't want the birds to eat them. If you cover these bushes with netting, you're going to want to come out every single day and make sure you didn't get a bird somehow stuck in there. It doesn't happen very often, but sometimes they can wiggle their way in if you don't have it tightened down properly. And then you have to rescue the bird. Here's a different variety of blueberries. Quite a few potato volunteers in here as well. My shadow is in the way. These beautiful peas. Here is an area where the mice ate all my peas. And I'll show you what the evidence looks like. You'll see piles and piles of this, which is, they don't eat this part. This is the outside of the pea. They just eat the tender inside, and then they leave little piles everywhere of just the outside of the shell. Actually, funny, I'll show you. There's a pile over here. So they take them completely out of the garden to wherever. And then, there you go. That is the remnants of a mouse eating my peas. Some people will say I have put my jalapenos out too early, and you could be right, but I did it anyway, and most of them look really fantastic, but there are a couple that are struggling because it is still getting, it's in the 40s still at night. It's a little bit cold. My tomatoes are not in the beds yet, but they are outside. Here's some more blueberries. And And even more blueberries, and the bees are still working on these. Let's see if we can find one for you. If they'll stop long enough. This bed here is also jalapenos and peas. Oh my gosh, you guys, look, there's an angry bird. He's so mad at me. He's over there. He's so mad. Side eye all day long. Okay, back to this bed. You will notice that I am growing tons and tons of potatoes and lots of peas and lots of jalapenos and not a ton of everything else. And I'm really focusing on what I would call a canning garden, even though I'm not going to can the peas, because I just really want to stock up on the items that we eat and just get a good stock, like a good 1 to 2 year supply, especially of the potatoes and the jalapenos. So underneath the row cover, this is what it looks like. And I loosen them up as they get taller, and once they're established, like now would probably be a good time for me to go ahead and remove the row cloth, but I left it on because I wanted to show it to you. And there is evidence here of the mice getting in and eating some of those, and so I'll have to replant them. But here we are, very pretty. And here we've got some more raspberries. Not as bushy as the others. Here's an example of what the hole looks like from the bird. You know, they really get in there good. We've got a couple blueberries over here. And down here, the back side of the grapes I showed you in the beginning. This one here is the Himrod. It's the green table grape. And pretty soon you'll be able to see the flowers. Let's head down the center of the garden. I'll show you what's growing in the middle. This is my tomato bed, and there's no tomatoes in it yet. That will be next. There's only 2 beds that haven't been planted. This one, I'll probably plant the tomatoes next week after Mother's Day. And then the bed just beyond it hasn't been planted. That's where the corn and the pumpkin and the cucumbers are gonna go. And I'm not gonna plant those until the last week of May or the first week of June. So you see, this jalapeno is strong and healthy and happy. But if we just come down here a little bit, like this one just failed to thrive. Most of them look good though. Another tip, when you're taking your jalapeno starts out of the seed tray, try not to pull the roots, because that has been what causes that, you know, that failure to thrive. They do not like their roots disturbed like that. Here's the backside here. Lots of potato volunteers growing. And this is mostly brassicas. This is cauliflower. And in between I have marigolds. This one hasn't bloomed yet, but some of the others have. We've got oregano. This is Greek oregano specifically. Here is a beautiful marigold. And this is chickweed. very medicinal plant, and it will not take over in the garden, believe it or not. Next to that, we have sage. And next to that, we have broccoli. More marigold. Marigold is just fabulous for keeping the cabbage moths away. We have all different colors. Look at this one over here. Look how brilliant that is. So pretty. And then here we've got cabbage. And last in this bed we have celery. I find that Hadrian celery grows the best here. I've tried lots of different kinds and they do kind of grow, but if you want one that looks like the kind that you buy at the grocery store, that is a really good variety. And I know a lot of you struggle growing cauliflower. Goodman, that variety grows fabulous here in our area, Pacific Northwest Zone 8B. And these don't need any assistance at all right now. When the cauliflower starts to grow, you can tie up the leaves around the cauliflower, keep it from turning yellow. And here, this is all potatoes, Yukon Golds again, growing a ridiculous amount of them. These should be planted about 6 inches deep. You notice that I do not hill mine. However, I do come in and add compost if they start poking up above the soil line. You do not want your potatoes to be exposed to the sunshine. It causes them to turn green, and you don't want to eat a green potato. That's a nice big one there. If you hill up the soil when you're planting them, then you don't have to worry about that as much. But I find that to be less enjoyable, so I don't do it. This is the bed here that's going to have the corn and the pumpkins and the cucumbers in it. So there's nothing in it at the moment. I am coming out here and weeding regularly. This bed here has potatoes, Yukon Golds, in it as well. And when the mice bury their stuff and they don't come back to get it, then I get volunteers. So I've got some peas growing in here. And here is a potato that is starting to come up. This bed had calendula in it, and it is trying to come back. This is a calendula flower, and this is a weed. And these, I don't know what they are. I don't know what kind of weed it is, but they grow, like when you dig it up. I'll show you what it looks like. They're awful. So when you dig them up, they go way down, and they look like this, see? And then they break right here at the root line, and then they just grow right back. So if you want to get rid of them, you have to dig down like 6 or 8 inches to get the root out. If somebody knows what weed that is, tell me down in the comments. This bed has, right here, this is all spinach. And like with the carrots, the birds ate most of them, and I heavily replanted yesterday. And the birds didn't get every single one, but they got a lot. And I had them in really cute rows, and it was going to look adorable, and now it's going to look like a spinach jungle. I mean, assuming that the birds don't eat them all again. This is parsley. And this is all lettuce here. I love lettuce. This particular variety is my favorite, which is, it's actually legitimately called Drunken Woman Frizzy Headed. It's a butter crunch variety and it is so good. And the name is just fun to say because people are always like, you gotta be kidding me, that's not really what it's called. And yes, that's really what it's called. This is marjoram. Which is a lot like oregano, but a little bit different. And I have a sister-in-law who is a huge marjoram fan, so I always try to make sure to grow some for her. This is self-heal. This will most likely be growing in your yard in the summertime. That's when it blooms, is in the summer. But we mow our yard, so I grow it in the garden to make sure I get some. And this is thyme. Now, don't ask me why I did this, but I planted the hyssop right next to the thyme, and they look an awful lot alike, don't they? When they get bigger, it will be more obvious, the differences between the hyssop and the thyme, but right now, they look very, very similar. And this patch right here is just regular plain oregano. Over here we have onions. I exclusively grow Cortland onions. Let me see if I can get my shadow out so you can see what these look like. Cortland variety is a yellow storage onion, and these will store almost the entire year until you get your next harvest, and they taste delicious. This patch right here is empty, and I forgot what I was going to plant there, but I will be planting something, maybe some more carrots. And down here we have basil. This is sweet basil. Also not a cool weather plant. It's doing okay, literally just okay. It's not doing fantastic. And if the temperatures do not heat up soon, then these are going to die and I will replant them. In fact, I might just direct seed like next to them. That might be a better option. Normally my basil is so amazing, but this year, not so much. In this row here, I have sheep sorrel. It's a weed, technically, but I need some for my medicine cabinet, so I'm growing it again. This is savory, and thankfully I was smart enough not to plant it next to the hyssop and the thyme because it also looks just like that. And next to that we have some purslane. Also just doing okay. It is a cool weather plant, and I don't know why it's struggling, but it's not really super happy. And this is Mexican tarragon. And down here is all Yukon Gold potatoes, and it'll be a minute before they start coming up. And next to the end of the line of potatoes, I have quite a bit of holy basil. Now the holy basil is doing great. It's really happy. I'm not sure what the difference is. I don't know why my basil just kind of, my regular sweet basil was so sad. But the holy basil's doing great. And next to that we have anise hyssop. This is a wonderful herb to have in your garden. You can tincture it. You can make an infused oil with it. And it's just an excellent antiviral, and it tastes and smells just like licorice. I guess if you hate licorice, then you might not want this, but if you like it, you want to grow some of this. And the flowers are beautiful. And that is it for the main gardens. We have made it back to the front. I will give you, oh, here's my tomatoes. Do you want to see my tomatoes? These are my tomatoes, and they're actually doing great. They're really, really, really happy. I up-potted them just because I didn't have time and didn't want to plant them in the garden yet. I'm not selling all the tomatoes, they're just here hanging out. And this is arnica, and I am so excited. This is the first time my arnica has ever bloomed. I grow it every year, and every year it just gives me leaves. But this year, it's blooming. All three of them are blooming. I'm so excited. We've got some more sage here. These are all like 2-year plants. Well, the arnica, some of it's like 5 years old or more. But these sages are really old. Well, compared to the ones I showed you earlier. And then we have motherwort, tons of motherwort. And back there is oregano. These are all going to be for sale except for the arnica and the tomatoes. Now I'll give you your quick overview. Here's what's left in my grow room. We've got pumpkin up here. And I planted some more basil because I was worried, and for good reason. And I planted a couple more tomatoes too, although I didn't have to worry about that. And down here we've got cucumber and dill. And here we have skullcap and comfrey and a little bit more dill. That's my May garden. What do you guys think? What are you guys growing? What are you not growing? Are you, sitting there watching this video thinking, oh man, I'm too late. It's too late to plant a garden. It's not. May is actually a perfect time if you live in the Pacific Northwest, Zone 8B, like I do. It's a perfect time to grow your garden. Some things you can grow from seed, and some things you might want to hop out and get some starts for, but you can start it now. This is the most perfect time actually to grow your garden. And yes, my peppers are in a little bit early, and my tomatoes are in pots, and everything's outside. But there's always a debate between gardeners here in my area. Should you wait until after Mother's Day? Should you not? I almost never do. And it's never been really that big of a problem. We did get snow in March one time, but I don't think we've ever had anything seriously freezing in May, which is why people always recommend waiting until after Mother's Day, because even though our days can get quite warm, it was 80 degrees yesterday. And was it yesterday? Yeah, 80 degrees yesterday, and today it's 56 or 57. Lots of wild swings in temperature this time of year, and the night times are still a little bit cold. And there are probably people out there who will say wait until it's 50 degrees at night to plant your tomatoes and your peppers, but you don't need to actually. It's in the 40s at night here in my microclimate. Now, there might still be some people who live in zone 8B, closer to the water, maybe a little bit closer to the mountains, that are still getting down into the 30s. And if that's you, you may want to wait, or you can plant them and protect them with something that keeps them a little bit warm. But here where I am, we're in the high 40s at night. That's perfect. Your tomatoes and your peppers are going to be okay. I would not put out your squashes and your melons and your corn and those kinds of things yet. Some people might. Have you? Let me know down in the comments if you've already planted your squashes and your cucumbers and your pumpkins. I wait to put those in until the soil is 70 degrees, and your outside temperature does not need to be 70 degrees for your soil to be that warm. I do take the temperature of my soil to make sure before I plant beans and before I plant any of the summer stuff like cucumbers and pumpkins and melons and things like that. Make sure you stay tuned. I will be doing a June garden tour unless something significant happens this month. This will probably just be a one and done tour for May. But June, when the garden kind of poofs, I'm definitely going to want to show you what it looks like. Let me know down in the comments what you're growing, what you're planting, or what you're dreaming of planting in the years to come. I'm going to go and get some work done, but I hope you enjoyed my garden tour, and I hope it inspires you to plant some food for yourself. You know, you saw all those pots out there. Even if you don't have a lot of space, you can grow in pots too and get closer and closer to being more self-sufficient and self-sustaining and be able to have food at your fingertips and not have to go to the grocery store. I am one of those people that does not like to go to the grocery store because I don't like to leave my house. So, yeah. Anyway, okay, time to go. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to support me, please do so. I would appreciate it. If you want something in return for your support, please go down to the description box. Check out my Etsy shop. There are tons of things there. You guys, it is almost Mother's Day. I know you have birthdays and holidays coming up. Please consider picking up something from my Etsy shop. I make all of those things here at my homestead in small handcrafted batches from the herbs that I grow out in the garden you just saw. All right, time for me to go. I will be seeing you soon. Bye!